Welcome back to The Upshot, where we are picking up the trail of the true crime nightmare that's tearing PSG apart. With me once again are Zachary Sweeney-Lynn.
Hello, Jack.
Hello, and Sarah Manaï.
Hello.
Hello, bonjour.
Bonjour.
Any nightmares last night, guys, while you were thinking about this case?
I thought about it.
I haven't slept since the last episode. So.
I've noticed you looking over your shoulder a lot more than usual.
I'm wearing the same clothes. Didn't sleep.
Definitely didn't record it 5 minutes ago.
Absolutely not.
At the end of part one, when we left you, prime suspect Aminata Diallo had just been released amid the bombshell revelation that the victim, Kira Hamraoui, was having a secret affair with Eric Abidal, and Abidal's wife was now a suspect. It's absolutely wild. And Sarah, what's really strange about this is Hayat Abidal's reaction to the attack.
It's just revelation after revelation. Literally a couple of days after the attack, Hayat Abidal filed for divorce. And so that was a bombshell. Like, that was like, whoa, okay, Eric Abidal is getting a divorce. He was obviously sporting director for Barcelona. He obviously recruited Kylian Mbappe. There is a link somewhere. Like, the attacker, let's remember what the attacker told Kylian Mbappe while assaulting her on that street in Paris on the 4th of November. He told her, you are basically shagging married men. So it was leaked in the press. It was leaked in the media. So the public knew that the attacker accused Hamraoui of having like a marital affair. 2 days later, Hayat Abidal files for divorce. There is a Barcelona link here. So everybody kind of like got it quite quickly and clocked and were like, oh my God, there's something between this Abidal divorce, weird after like 25 years of marriage, this Hamraoui thing. She filed for divorce just a couple of days after.
And it seems like probably the reason Hayat Abidal found out so quickly that he was having an affair, the reason this attack led her to find out, is that Hamraoui had said to Diallo and the others in the Holiday Inn, she must have said, I'm sleeping with him, because she had him on speakerphone saying,
called him,
does your wife want to kill me? Yeah. So then Diallo has said it to police when she was first questioned. Maybe Hamraoui mentioned it to police too.
But it was very convenient for Aminata Diallo to point her finger at Hayat Abidal, saying, oh, look, she's having an affair, look that way.
Yeah.
And trying to, because that's what she has been doing for, let's be honest, a few weeks, a few months. Aminata Diallo has tried to blame everyone else. So it was Hayat Abidal, and then it was someone else, and then it was... So she's trying to put the attention of the police officers on different paths.
It's a stroke of genius to get the attackers to say...
it is very smart.
You sleep with married men, if that is what Diallo was trying to do.
If they knew, if the one who organised
herring.
that indeed knew it was with Eric Abidal...
Yeah.
And did say that on purpose and not just accuse her of, oh, you're having, extramarital affairs.
And I guess she finds out very quickly because the police call her in and say, you're a suspect. Maybe they say to Eric Abidal, we're going to have to tell her why she's a suspect, so you tell her. Either
Probably
way.
call Eric Abidal and get yourself to Paris. Your lover has been attacked. We suspect your wife. You need to tell her. And basically she discovered in the next hours, Hayat Abidal, what was going on.
And as you said, she announces the divorce extremely quickly. Eric does his best to try and win her back. He posts a photo of himself on Instagram looking sad and with a caption begging her to take him back and saying, please forgive me. I deserve this humiliation, even though it kills me alive. But hopefully one day you will forgive me. She hasn't so far forgiven him.
No, not happening.
And...
does that work, though, an Instagram post to win someone?
I just love the idea of, let me find a photo of myself looking sad.
Yeah. What did he type on Google?
I'd love it if he'd
Eric
screenshotted
Abidal
his...
sad.
Yeah, it's like the Blaise Matuidi.
Yeah, Valentine's Day.
On
Blaise Matuidi's wife. Right. Happy Valentine's Day, babe. It's like, all right. You didn't even have a picture of your wife.
Yeah, so he posted on Valentine's Day, he posted a screenshot of himself searching for Matuidi wife.
His wife on Google.
And then got a picture of them and
just posted it on Twitter or on
the search still in the photo.
Yeah. Blaise Matuidi's wife.
It was like Abidal sad.
It's a common joke now that every Valentine's Day Matuidi posts that saying, right, I did a mistake, I'm going to own it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's really good.
But yeah, I don't think it works with anyone. I mean, if you cheat on someone, don't go on Instagram saying, please forgive me. It's not working.
Yeah.
So.
He's not the only one making public statements, because Hayat gives an interview to the press about Hamraoui. So remember that when they're in Barcelona, the Abidal family really took her in and they used to go and watch her matches. And now Hayat says, we became friends. She knew my children. This girl is evil.
She felt betrayed.
Yeah.
Rightly so, when you welcome someone into your house.
Yeah. Although that's also quite an incriminating statement when you're under suspicion of orchestrating an assault on someone to come out to the press.
Maybe not the best
This
reaction.
girl is evil.
She's evil.
What's your motive? I mean, the motive's clear, but actually, the police quite quickly seem to move on from the theory that Hayat Abidal did it. She's never really a major suspect for them.
She's not a criminal. She's not organising this criminal assault. She's a mother.
The motive is obvious.
Yeah, the motive is obvious, and it's actually one of the most common motives in crimes is actually shagging.
Especially in France.
Especially in France, we all kill our husbands and our wives because they
Crime
cheat.
of passion.
Yeah, we don't even kill them because it's a common thing, cheated on you. It's a usual thing, you know what I mean? But no, she felt betrayed. She definitely welcomed Kylian Mbappe in her house when she arrived in Barcelona, and probably, as you said in the first part of this episode, saying when you're a French girl that arrives in a club with a French sports director, a French family, kind of all connect. And you're like, oh, come, we'll help you out around the city. We'll help you out with your phone. We'll help you out. So you do welcome. She must have felt, completely betrayed. But as you say, Jack, she quickly doesn't become a suspect anymore because the police can see that this mother in Barcelona did not organise this terrible assault.
Unless she's a very good actor, it's clear that she didn't know he was having the affair until
Absolutely
this thing
not,
happened. So,
she would have filed for divorce before, wouldn't she?
Yeah, and I guess maybe she has a good alibi as well.
So a few weeks after the attack and after Diallo's arrest, both Kira Hamraoui and Aminata Diallo returned to PSG training, and the club have assigned both of them bodyguards. So the coach, Didier Olnicol, decides that the two of them should train separately for the first 2 weeks. So they do that, and then he decides, let's try and integrate them back together. So they do a week together, which is a terrible idea.
A bit soon.
Yeah, it was. So he describes it as 7 terrible days because the two girls didn't talk to each other. I felt that they hated each other. Which, quelle surprise.
Can I just say something quickly as well? Is Didier Olnicol, the coach at the time, punished Hamraoui because she was the one training apart, while Aminata Diallo was training with the squad.
Oh, really?
So he put her on the side, Hamraoui, you're going to train on your own, and Aminata, you're going to train with the team. And it's like, okay, so that did not help her at all.
Yeah.
Okay, so she seems like the one who's been
basically she turns into the victim, turns into the one being guilty of something.
The PSG players really seem to side with Diallo. So when she comes back to training, several of them ask for their lockers to be moved away from hers, which
High school stuff.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, it's very childish. But football players, and I'm sorry to say, but most of them are a bit childish, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Hamraoui says, the squad no longer speaks to me. They treat me like a plague victim. God. And there's also this angry confrontation on the exercise bikes when one of the PSG players, Diani, confronts Hamraoui because you remember in the Holiday Inn scene,
Back to the Holiday Inn.
Hamraoui named Diani's boyfriend Cesar Mavakala as one of the suspects. So Diani's pretty fucked off about that.
As you would be, by the way. So devil's advocate. If these players at PSG, they know that from the first moment Hamraoui was saying it was someone at PSG. So they feel like they're accused. One of their boyfriends has been accused directly. Perhaps they feel like she's suggesting that they're all, murderers.
Yeah, and it's not only the players that have turned against Hamraoui. So when she eventually recovers from her injuries and returns to the pitch, she's booed by PSG's fans. And also actually at a men's match against Rennes, the PSG Ultras unfurl a banner that reads, Aminata Diallo, we strongly support you. And then another one that reads, Kira Hamraoui, whose turn is it? Which refers to the claims about the number of lovers that
It's
Kira Hamraoui
ridiculous.
has had.
They're judging her on her love life, completely forgetting that, she was assaulted.
Yeah.
And this spills out beyond Paris as well, right, Zach?
Yeah, so there's another example of Hamraoui's isolation when she gets called up to the France squad for some internationals and Diallo's not picked. And during those internationals, France score a goal, and two France players, the PSG stars Diani and Matoto, celebrate a goal by making an A for Aminata. And this is, you consider that Hamraoui is in the team with them. Like I think she's on the bench, but she comes on later in the game.
She was on the pitch.
Was she on the pitch during the goal?
I think so, and they don't celebrate with her.
Oh, okay.
I think they all celebrate kind of, and she's a bit on the side, and then they do like the A. In front of the photographers, and you're like, wow.
I mean, Diani's one of the kind of ringleaders, right? She's the one who confronted her. She's going out with Cesar. Mavakala.
Hamraoui's agent, quite understandably, is pretty livid about this, and the fact that the French Football Federation don't stop it or punish the players for doing that. But amid all of this, Hamraoui does have one person in her corner, the PSG gaffer Didier Olnicol. So he continues to pick her throughout this case. There's so much noise around it, but he stays by her side. But Didier is about to be hit by a scandal of his own. So later that season,
welcome to French football. Yeah. So actually, the coach is a shagger. All right, terrible.
So later that season, Didier Olnicol is suspended after accusations of inappropriate behaviour, specifically arse grabbing.
Technical term in French law.
Arse grabbing.
So it's alleged that during a pre-season tour of the US, he had touched one player's arse, he'd whacked another one's bum with a miniature baseball bat, and had told another one, "You want to be spanked. You want that, right? You want to be spanked. I will spank you."
Where's the miniature baseball bat come from? Sorry.
It was a US
tour.
In
the US.
Yes,
yeah. Didn't have any,
of course, obviously.
American football.
Shop at JFK.
So Olnicol immediately comes out and denies it. So he tells L'Equipe, the French paper, "I arrived at the training centre one morning and I was told about these accusations. It was so unreal. I was stabbed in the back." So he claims that he's being targeted because of his support for Hamraoui, and he might be onto something. So it turns out that PSG were first made aware of these claims by none other than Cesar Mavakala. So you remember, he's the one that Hamraoui first identified as a suspect at the Holiday Inn.
He's Diani's boyfriend.
And Diani's boyfriend.
And he's an advisor to several, PSG players.
He's Diani's boyfriend. Diani is the one who made the A for Aminata at the France game. So he's firmly in Camp Diallo in this whole affair. So besides accusing Olnicol of arse grabbing, he is also making other threats to PSG. So he basically threatened the club that his other clients, so Diani and Matoto, would leave unless Hamraoui left the club. So PSG refused to do that, and at that point he fed the arse grabbing bombshell. So it's really becoming a legal term now, this arse grabbing.
Arse grabbing.
So he then fed that to the press. So these cases are very complicated. You don't know everything about what's going on, but the allegations are that these arse grabbing suggestions were at least in part planted by Mavakala. So in fact, it was his girlfriend Diani who made the miniature baseball bat allegation. I should say, though, that there was another youth team player who did make a complaint against Olnicol, but he's later cleared and reinstated. But he then leaves the club shortly after anyway.
So hang on. So what do we think's going on? I guess we'll never know. Like the stuff with Mavakala threatening for players to leave the club unless Hamraoui goes. That's
He has been pushing for his players. He's not an agent, but advising for them to extend their contract with PSG to get more money. Then he threatens to take them out if Hamraoui doesn't leave the club. He's pressuring PSG with quite a lot of players.
Yeah. So one of Mavakala's demands to the club is that they give a new contract to Aminata Diallo, and there's talk that she might get one because her deal is running out in July 2022, which is 8 months after the initial attack. So there's talk that she might get one. In the end, PSG don't offer her a new deal, and she leaves the club in July. And then in September, so 10 months after the first attack, she is arrested again, this time along with 4 men. And this is when she learns that the French police had bugged her phone after the first arrest, and they present her with these
Oh, right, that's why they'd be so nice. That's why I got that bowl of croissants. And...
Exactly.
charging my phone for free.
That was weird. I didn't get
Cleaning
it.
my car. So they present her with some incriminating recordings. In one of them, she is recorded saying of Hamraoui, "She says she's a victim of assault. No one gives a shit. Did she die? Mate, nothing happened to her. She didn't even spend a day in hospital. They missed her. Break her face. She deserved it." It doesn't sound great, but, you know...
Once again, wouldn't say that about a mate.
Yeah, you wouldn't say that about a mate. I don't know who the people are on the other end of these calls, because...
Yeah.
I would be terrified of her. By this
I'd be like, right, okay. Speak to you later, yeah?
Needless to say, Diallo's lawyer
She'd be
says...
like, yeah, but we are going to Zanzibar. That's what we're going to say, right?
We're still going, yeah? All right.
You said good vibes. Needless to say, Diallo's lawyer says that this quote is taken out of context, and he does quite a good job of sort of, you know, casting doubt and trying to fight its introduction into the case. But unfortunately for him, Diallo gives an interview to the press, and she explains this recording, and her explanation is it's actually a bit more incriminating. She says, "I wasn't saying what happened to her during the assault wasn't serious. What I said was, considering everything she was doing, she hadn't been hit enough."
Let me rectify, please. You know?
Has she still not got a lawyer? Because I think whatever
Terrible defense.
whatever lawyer has been advising her to give these.
I'm also a lawyer, yeah, surprise.
PR, yeah, sure. Just say she hasn't been hit enough. I think what she's trying to say is she's making a big deal out of it when the assault wasn't that bad. Although
she's saying if I had orchestrated the attack, I'd have hit her harder.
She wouldn't be around to complain about it.
Exactly.
The police have actually hit her with an even bigger issue, because these 4 men they arrested, 3 of them have admitted to the police that they were at the scene of the crime, and the other one has confessed he was the one who beat Hamraoui with the metal bars. And worse still, they all say that Diallo was the person who ordered the attack so she could take Hamraoui's position in future matches. So she's in real trouble here. They do say, one piece of context, the 4 of them who blame her, they say that they got their direct orders from someone else, but they understood that this was being ordered on Diallo's behalf. So they didn't speak with her directly.
But they incriminate her.
I mean, also, to play devil's advocate, it is possible that somebody, whoever orchestrated the attack, framed Diallo by telling the perpetrators that they were doing it for Diallo. It's possible. I mean,
yeah, completely.
If she's going to get a middleman to orchestrate the attack, why does she then say, "Can you make sure they know this order came from me"?
Yeah.
So the police have got some serious evidence on their hands now, because they already had a motive. They already had incriminating recordings, of which they've got more of. But they now have confessions from the people who carried out the attack, and they blame her for orchestrating it. I mean, it feels like a slam dunk. And at this point, she is officially charged with 3 counts of aggravated assault. She's held in Versailles prison for 5 days and then released, but under conditions. So she's banned from entering Paris. That's quite a big deal. She lives there, right?
Yeah.
She's banned from entering Paris. She's not allowed to contact anyone involved in the case. They're pretty stringent.
They're not allowed to contact each other, Hamraoui and Zero. Still today, I think. They're not allowed to be in touch.
Until the case. So she's placed under judicial supervision, which is the situation she's still in, right? So is that kind of like you're charged awaiting trial?
Oh, yes, exactly. It's basically you are targeted, you are an official suspect, and you will undergo trial because the judge has accepted that there is enough evidence for you to go to court. Yeah.
Right. So she's got these conditions. She can't really talk. She can't talk to the media. She can't talk to
the press. She can't give any interview.
Meanwhile, the police are singing like canaries. So at this point, they drop another bombshell. They let slip one of their new theories, which is that Aminata Diallo has split personality disorder. So an unnamed investigator briefs the press. They say Diallo regularly spoke on the phone with a young woman, Ileana B, and they call it a virtual intimate relationship going beyond fantasy, and they say that she sometimes puts on a deep voice and pretends to be a male individual named Bilal, which is it's getting pretty crazy now.
I don't know what to do with this information, to be honest.
Also, how are these Parisian police keep dropping these stories to the press. I think they need to review their security.
Yeah, but is it maybe a tactic to flush out stuff? So just addressing the specific claims about Bilal and the personality disorders. So they had a psychiatrist evaluate these recordings. The psychiatrist's report says that she has, quote, undeniable personality disorders. So they don't actually say split personality. I think one of the police or the media kind of jazzes that up. She does later see a psychiatrist for 9.5 hours, and that will be used in the court case. Her lawyer calls the diagnosis bullshit. He basically says, look, it's not actually based on the meetings with her and a psychiatrist. He doesn't address the Bilal stuff. No one really ever addresses the Bilal stuff again. Weirdly, it's out in the press. I have a few theories about like whether she was just on the phone with someone called Bilal or like a 3-way phone conversation. Like the idea that she was impersonating someone. The only Bilal I could really find in this story, and apologies to him if he's not involved, is Bilal Ghazi, who is Kylian Mbappe's handyman, apparently, and an old friend of Diallo from Grenoble. So
Bilal Ghazi used to be a journalist.
Really?
At Lyon. He was covering Olympique Lyonnais, and so the women as well. And he was a journalist for L'Équipe, so the main French sports newspaper.
Right, and then
he stopped to work with Kylian Mbappe, but I don't think he has any link really to this story. He's now an advisor for Kylian Mbappe.
Well, the only
everyone is an advisor.
Yeah,
I might go back and just be an advisor myself.
Why am I here?
Podcast?
So this is the moment where Kylian Mbappe enters the story, albeit briefly. It's a weird element of this story that after the attack, Mbappe and Aminata Diallo are pictured together at an event, and I think actually that meeting was possibly brokered by Bilal Ghazi because he does know Aminata Diallo, but also it transpires that Mbappe was planning to make a documentary about this whole saga through one of his companies, which seems like an odd move. He was a PSG player at the time and frankly had other things to be worrying
the
about.
Scandal in my club.
Was Kylian going to be behind the camera on this?
Louis Theroux style.
Yeah. And so the story would be that Aminata Diallo called Faiza Mbappe, which is like Kylian Mbappe's mum, and tried to be like, right, look, I kind of need a bit of a hand here. And Faiza is known for managing a bit of her son's career as well with Wilfried, his dad. And so it's a strategy. It's a PR strategy here, thinking, right, I have to be seen with Mbappe. Because if I'm seen with Mbappe, people always side with me. They fucking love Mbappe.
And doesn't Faiza then, Kylian's mum, raises Diallo's contract with the club at one point?
So I don't know if that happened. I don't know if that meeting happened.
She acknowledges it because she says, I was just trying to help her, and then when I realised this whole case was going, I cut my ties with her.
I don't really know what happened with the contract situation. What is true is that, what she admitted, Faiza, is that she did talk to PSG about Aminata's situation, trying to defend her, because they tried to, be
Why, what's her, why does she want to help Diallo particularly?
He wants to further Kylian's documentary filmmaking career.
My son is trying to be a film director.
You know what I mean? It's like, well, what, do they know each other already?
No, but it's giving a hand, because at the time, I'm guessing that if you needed something at PSG, if you needed a bit of a hand, if you needed someone to speak to the president, if you're close to Mbappe, you go to Mbappe, because they had all powers. They had a golden boy. It's like, look, I know you're meeting Nasser Al Khelaifi every other week. Could you please try to help me out here? My client is in that situation. Right, I'll have a word.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's how it kind of worked. They had a lot of power at the club at the time.
Yeah, okay.
They had
it's better than
Diallo's also very good at getting people on her side.
Oh my God, there was a PR
sort of a people person.
Yeah, that's what she should do maybe now, The football career is over. Try to be in PR.
An advisor.
Yeah, she can become an advisor.
I guess it's better to get Mbappe's mum than to send Cesar Mavakala in
Definitely.
blackmail.
Definitely.
Although I do sense he's behind stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we never get any further light shed on who Bilal is. It sounds like it is a different Bilal. It's not Bilal Ghazi.
A character she maybe invented, and we'll never really know.
Want to hear those recordings. I hope they use them in court of her putting a deep voice on.
Please leak it.
Bonjour, c'est Bilal.
Bonjour, c'est Bilal. Yeah, it's very weird. It's very shady, all that.
Yeah, we'll see whether that was just, again, another unfair jibe in the PR war. But in 2023, Hamraoui leaves PSG, as you said, her contract runs up. She has a little stint in Mexico. Meanwhile, Diallo is playing for Levante in Spain. You can see they're not playing for the kind of clubs that
Oh no, it
maybe they
ruined
should
her
have been.
career.
Yeah.
She went in exile, Hamraoui.
Yeah.
She could have found another club in Europe.
Yeah, apparently she had offers from like Man United and
Yeah,
Juventus.
but she was a very good player.
But she just wanted to be out of Europe.
She wanted to be out, and she said when she left, she's like, "I'm closing the most painful page of my career in my life."
Oh, yeah, hopefully the most painful.
Yeah, like literally, it killed her, like
Yeah.
mentally, and
As it were.
having her own country, like people, she missed the Euros, she missed people were booing her. She wanted to be out. Mexico was a good place for that.
And then, so Diallo then last season went to Al Nassr, Ronaldo's team, right?
Yeah.
In Saudi Arabia. So it was a bit of a surprise this summer when Al Nassr's Saudi rivals Al Shabab announced a new signing, Kira Hamraoui.
Bit of drama in the Saudi
Really
league.
shocked by that. So I should say, unfortunately, there won't be an on-pitch reunion, partly for legal reasons, but also because Diallo left Al Nassr this summer. So it's annoying because Al Nassr and Al Shabab are playing each other in a couple of weeks. So I briefly thought we were going to have the dream crunch
The
match.
drama.
Yeah, which
Sure, they're legally
Yeah, they're not
barred
supposed to be in
from
contact.
contacting to each
They
can
can't
they
be in
tackle each
contact.
other?
Yeah.
Without
Shake hands
speaking.
for a game. You get a word in. But what I don't understand about this is why would Kira Hamraoui go to Saudi Arabia of all places? Riyadh. Both teams are in Riyadh, I think. Why would you go and sign for a team where you're the person you think
Maybe because she knew that she was going to be out anyway. The money is very good.
What you
Or
think
is it to
Yeah.
to fuck over Diallo's career again? Like she knows that if she goes to Saudi, then Diallo will have to leave
Yeah.
for legal
Maybe.
reasons.
We don't know the chain of events.
Still
It's
allowed
possible
within
that
200
Diallo was
metres
already
of that.
leaving and she knew that.
Probably she knew that Diallo was not going to stay in the Saudi league. The money is obviously very good. She needs to catch up with what she missed in her career because it ruined the end of her career. Maybe she wants just to catch up on money. She has been known to be Muslim as well, playing in a Muslim country. There are many like background reasons as well as a from Arab descent.
It makes complete sense unless she didn't know that Diallo was leaving, in which case it seems insane to me to want to go and be in the
Yeah,
city
but we
with
don't know
your-
what offers she had on the table at the time. She had some crap offers, and you have got the Saudi club coming with millions saying, look, there's only 2 games in the season when you might see this girl. Otherwise, like, we're offering you a great wage and all that in a Muslim country and all that.
You're probably not going to get attacked by mask-wielding men. in Saudi
exactly.
Arabia. Say what you like about Saudi.
But it's safe.
But-
You know what I mean? They just hang
Provided you follow a
criminals.
few rules, it's safe.
You need to follow the rules, otherwise, So yeah, there are many reasons. And that's something we didn't really speak about, but it's racial tensions that happen in the PSG dressing room with a lot of the sub-Saharan girls, African descent girls, supporting Aminata Diallo. And the other ones kind of not supporting Kira Hamraoui. So there was, and it's a real thing, there were racial tensions. It's not a bad word to say that people were taking sides in function of their origins, saying, right, we're going to support, our girl because she's from the same country, background, whatever, religion as us. And the other ones being a bit like, well, we're going to support the other one because... So that's why the atmosphere, when we talked a bit earlier about the horrendous atmosphere in the PSG dressing room, is also because there are racial tensions and in the French team as well.
So let's talk about where we're at now, because that takes us up to the present day. The case still hasn't gone to trial. We
No.
don't have a verdict. There's a bit of legal limbo at the moment. Diallo's lawyer's fighting to have a few things excluded from the case, these wiretaps and recordings.
They lost that.
Surely that
They've
looks
lost that.
They've
Okay,
lost that.
So that's going to be in.
The legal
surely that
system
does look
is-
a little bit suspect though if you're asking to have evidence excluded.
That's normal lawyer shit, though.
Yeah,
isn't it?
because you think the jurors, like the jury, would be, if they hear that, the jury's going to think, but it's been excluded. I mean, they lost the trial.
So we will get to find out who.
So we
Bilal
will
is.
get to
Which
find out.
For me, has
who
become
the
the main mystery.
Yeah, exactly. We will get to find out.
Meet Bilal.
We will meet Bilal in a few months' time. The trial was supposed to take place in 2024. It obviously hasn't, and it won't be until we are November now. It's not going to happen. We're looking into 2025 now. What I understand is that the French police, is trying still in the procedure to get more evidence against the Aminata Diallo. What they are trying to do at the moment really is, and what I have been trying to do for months, to find a direct link between Aminata Diallo and the guys who attacked Kira Hamraoui. They found some connection that might not be strong enough to prove that either she instigated it or was part of this big
because all they have is those guys saying, oh yeah, she ordered it via a middleman.
They're trying to find links, be like, right, how do they know each other? Who put them in touch? What were the phone calls like? Who did she talk to before the attack? That's what they were trying to do, to gather more evidence, to get to court and have a strong case against her and be like, right. So that's why 2024 doesn't look likely to happen.
Yeah. So I think when the trial comes, we should do an update episode, us three, and revisit it, possibly from Paris. For now, Sarah, thank you so much. You provided the perfect insight in our first ever two-parter, our first ever true crime special. Provided us some amazing insight into French football. It's good having someone who knows that world, who's lived it, and lived to tell the tale. So thanks a lot. I hope you'll come on again for the update.
Definitely. Let's do that.
Excellent.
As soon as we've got a verdict, we're back.
Unless we're in hiding. And thank you, Zach.
Thank you.
And thanks a lot for listening.